Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast, and today it is a 1 vs 1 on Faymonville approach between our blue British Forces player, Romeo, and down on the bottom we have our red Wehrmacht player, BartonPL. Again, it is Faymonville approach. Of course, we have the victory points going down the center of the map like so, and the munitions point, fuel point at the bottom. We have a fuel point and munitions point at the top of the map. Really enjoy casting this map. It's a really good map, lots of different play. I always like to see like the mines that end up occurring down here, and there's always a lot of fun battles here in the center with the various houses. And then there's this lonely point all the way over here on this side of the map that nobody ever gets. But that's okay. And we have Pioneers moving out to the first territory point, moving off to the right side. And we have the Strupen Doctrine, so we have Strupen coming out right off the bat here, and a sniper to follow, and 2 infantry for the British forces. And taking that territory point here, and a very early victory point for Romeo, so he can get that early point advantage, already taking down BartonPL by a few points there. Barton going after a slight economic, I suppose, going after that fuel point first. And making some sandbags in front of the cover here, so it can't be used against him. Putting these sandbags, these incomplete sandbags in front of this cover, so he can't use that against him. Pretty clever.
Machine gun crew awaiting orders.
And now going to be grabbing this territory point here. Vickers is out on the map for the British forces. We have the Strupen and the sniper now moving up and going right after the infantry. Sniper gets one of them right off the bat. And now the Strupen here hiding behind some decent cover, but the infantry get behind the house instead to not be shot at by that sniper. The top victory point has been taken by the Wehrmacht. And now Strupen has moved up closer to the house. Meanwhile, that sniper can get some lucky shots in on that house, but moving in and out like that sort of causes a little disruption in that sniper. And now here comes the Vickers, going to be coming up inside. It may take the place, or may just keep the infantry in there as well. And I'm just going to take the place of that infantry, and I'm going to move it right after these Strupen here. Strupen are pretty weak in the beginning of the game, so I'm very actually surprised that they're holding out this long against these infantry. Just sort of microed well, I suppose. As you can see, already having to run away. Additional Strupen now moving up against the infantry here, and they're going to be backing up into cover, as that British forces need cover for that infantry to be really, really good. And that Vicker is going to back out too, by the looks of it. It looks like the sniper has been, nope, not finished off. That is just some lonely Strupen. Here is the sniper. Moving on up to the center now. Looks like the Strupen are going to try and get inside the house first. Can they do it? No. The Vickers makes it inside first. However, the Vickers going to be slow to be moving around and setting up that machine gun, so that Strupen could probably do sort of a ring around the rosy situation there and just sort of juke it out. And the Pioneers have gone all the way up to the top here, taking that munitions point along with the fuel point as well. So a slightly higher income right now for the Wehrmacht player, 21 and 20 to 16 and 17. So very early slight point lead there, and 500 to 484. Now is taking that top victory point. So stomped that point loss. Now 2 infantry moving in. Did get that upgrade to get an additional troop within his infantry sections. And I'm going to force away the Strupen here. And with the additional men in those squads, going to do very good against these Strupen, as the Strupen are very, very weak. But you get them in bulk, and you just keep pumping them out. And eventually you can sort of overwhelm your opponent with them, but he's not really doing that in this case, sort of just using them as just frontline infantry, and just to slow the progression of the British forces player down a little bit. And now those infantry have taken the top territory there, and we have the Pioneers taking this territory point, but these infantry here could be moving out shortly, taking that munitions back. So we'll see how that goes up top. And now the sniper is chilling here, but it is on hold fire. Could actually be getting some shots in on this Vickers, but he would have to be moving back a little bit as he is in that arc of fire of that machine gun. A second sniper is out on the map and gets a shot in on that Vickers, but he's a little bit too close. He was actually a little bit outside of the arc of fire. Looks like he was firing from right there, so that's sort of interesting that it was firing, as that does happen sometimes. The munitions point down here being taken along with that victory point as well. So now going to force BartonPL to actually have to react towards the bottom side now and start taking back some of that territory. And now the Vickers had to back out of the house for a moment there. The sniper firing into the house. And going to get back inside here, but there are 2 snipers, and I could easily take out one of these with a couple of volleys there. And now Strupen going to be moving towards the infantry. And now it's couple infantry versus a couple Ostrupen here, and the infantry should be able to tear them up pretty well, particularly with that increased attack speed from excellent cover, except these infantry here were a little bit far away, so their accuracy was just not as good. And now the munitions point being taken back by the British forces. Sniper moving back a little bit as well. That Vickers had to back off back to base. Only has one man left in the squad. Some Royal Engineers coming out for the British forces. 3 Ostrupen and 2 snipers for the Wehrmacht.
Production upgrade accomplished.
And now it's just a volley of fire going into that house there. 4 Ostrupen still holding out pretty well. Does have a single veterancy there and a single veterancy on the infantry as well. And now the Pioneers here have moved up right in front of the British forces base there, almost actually right in front of that Vickers, and did take some of that territory and going to have to be taken back by the British forces. 36 and 29 to 37 and 23, so pretty close in terms of resources. A little bit more fuel for the Wehrmacht player. Sniper fires, gets a shot in on those infantry. Going to have to move around there, get away from the line of sight of that sniper there. And Ostrupen firing outside of the windows, and it looks like only 4 can actually fire at once at the moment. As you can see, the other 2 are facing in the other windows. You can only have 1 troop per window. And so really it's not using the entirety of the firepower of that Ostrupen squad, but they do have excellent cover being in a house, of course. And the British forces, Royal Engineers, taking back some of the territory. And we have some Ostrupen here trying to flank around these infantry. And did a pretty good job in doing that. And forces the retreat on these infantry, forces the retreat on these as well. But did call in some artillery here from the base. And already setting up, going to be firing shortly here. And here comes the first blast. There's really nothing there anymore, but it's going to do some pretty big damage to that house. Now the Ostrupen going to be taking back that fuel point. However, that Vickers inside the house here, still covering that center, and territory point could be taken by the Royal Engineers, as well as the fuel point could chase after the Ostrupen. Probably should be able to beat those as long as they can get close to them. And that artillery doing work on this house. This house won't last too much longer. I doubt the artillery will actually take it out. But another barrage sooner or later here will finish it off. And one more shot will actually finish it off, and we'll see if it's going to fire or not. And is it going to collapse it? Oh, and it goes away. Actually, I was thinking that it would last till the end of the barrage at least, with a very small amount of health. But nope, it finishes it off in one barrage. And now Pioneers moving on up towards the munitions point. Meanwhile, the Ostrupen moving towards the territory points. And a couple infantry are moving over to the right side here. Take care of that situation. 1 medical troop here and 1 to call in that coordinated fire. And these 2 Royal Engineers here are going to have to battle it out with 1 Ostrupen. Should be able to hop the wall and do pretty good damage as long as they just hop the wall and make it up to these Ostrupen. With those submachine guns should do excellent damage. However, there's another Ostrupen squad back here and 2 snipers. They're going to do huge damage on these Royal Engineers. And as soon as these 2 snipers decide to fire again, should lose 1 or 2 of these, but they were in retreat, so the other one missed, leaving 3 in that squad. 3 are now taking the fuel point as well. The Ostrupen here are going to be taking that munitions point. And munitions point up top being taken by the British forces, so an eye for an eye, if you will. And I'm going to be moving out, either going to be taking this fuel point here or the victory point. We're going to be taking the fuel point here with these, and the victory point shortly after with the other squad. And now we have British infantry battling out with Ostrupen. Ostrupen going to lose this out. I do have that light cover and increased attack speed bonus. And now MG firing at the Ostrupen here. Ostrupen are pretty well covered with that stone wall there. But unfortunately, going to have to run out of there. They could have probably moved to the left a little bit and escaped that, but they don't really have grenades or anything like that to throw into the house anyway. But is that suppose that is the downfall of Ostrupen, is that they really don't have too much to use. They do have the Panzerfaust, but other than that, not so good. And now the infantry here taking the victory point
Enemy causing trouble,
and
trying
fuel
to
point
take one of our points.
at the same time. And 2 snipers here are going to be firing at the infantry squad. Ostrupen moving forward, and they have no veterancy yet. But as soon as Ostrupen get 3 veterancy, they are actually pretty good. And particularly if you just sort of spam them at the beginning against U.S. forces or things like that have a lot of infantry at the beginning. Can sort of overwhelm your opponent with them. Fuel point being taken by the Wehrmacht as well. Other fuel point is also being taken. So if he can hold on to both of these fuel points here, we'll have a big fuel advantage for a little while. And 2 pioneers here trying to deal with the infantry, but not going to happen. And looks like artillery is coming down on this area here. Really nothing for it to hit, but should at least discourage any troops from sort of moving in that area there. And almost actually hit his own troops. And infantry trying to come around at these Ostrupen. Ostrupen will manage to capture this fuel point. But that's it. They're going to have to run away shortly. No, all the infantry run away, which is rather interesting. And now the Ostrupen going to be running away as well. So that will be held for the Wehrmacht for a while now. And Royal Engineers have taken back the bottom fuel point, or will shortly take it back. Chasing away some more Ostrupen. And we have an artillery field officer out on the field, moving on out. It kind of looks like he's out of breath, this artillery field officer. Look how he runs. Oh. Doesn't get as much training as the other guys, apparently. That's okay, though. And now the Royal Engineers are taking the territory point. And here come a 2-star Ostrupen, so we'll definitely chase away those Royal Engineers. And we'll take that back. Meanwhile, the top victory point being taken by the Wehrmacht, so we'll own 2. So we'll start to turn around the score a little bit. And take down the score of Romeo just a scotch before he can take back something else. Some commandos have been glided in. And here they go, now moving across. An artillery field officer here just standing out in the middle of nowhere, just shooting his Luger. Probably not the best idea. And now here come the commandos, going to actually get a surprise attack on these Ostrupen. And close range like that just eats up those Ostrupen, and commandos are a little bit off. It's just as soon as they run into cover, they instantly disappear. They sort of move in and out of stealth, if you will. Because of touching cover. So it's sort of hard to actually hit on them, to actually shoot at them, because they just morph in and out of cover. So you can get a few shots here and there, and then they morph into cover. So really hard to deal with commandos, although they do cost a lot. They cost 500 to bring in this glider, so that is the downfall there. And infantry, lots of them, holding the fuel point, need to move out and possibly take the bottom section of the map. Meanwhile, Ostrupen are taking that top munitions point.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Infantry taking the munitions point here and spreading out, taking the victory point as well. Meanwhile, commandos are trying to hold out the area here in some cover. But doubt it's going to happen. We have a couple Ostrupen moving up, and even though the commandos are really, really good, no match for 2 Ostrupen and 2 snipers.
Our lines of supply are disrupted.
And here they go, running off now.
The sector has been cut off.
Ostrupen inside the building here, but some Royal Engineers should be able to get up to the windows. At least this one window here where only one can fire out of. And going to fire into that and slowly take them out one at a time. Should be able to work that out. And infantry running away here from 2 Ostrupen, and again 2 snipers, but there's some artillery that's going to be coming down here. Probably not going to hit anything. Again, will discourage anything from this area, though, at the very least. And territory point being taken. The glider just chilling out here with the Vickers inside this building still. And we have infantry moving up right up to the Ostrupen. 2 infantry, both behind cover with a high rate of fire, going to eat those up pretty quickly. And now these Ostrupen actually have to watch out when they retreat. They could potentially run right into an artillery barrage with some bad RNG. Loses 1 Ostrupen squad. And looks like a Panzer IV is out on the way for the Wehrmacht player. Indeed. And now the artillery officer taking the territory points here. And now 2 artillery barrages at once, with both of those having been researched. So even more firepower now for the British Forces player. It looks like modified M6 mine has been placed by a Royal Engineer for the British Forces in the middle of the road. Cromwell Mark IV moving across. And should be able to spot these snipers here. However, the Panzer IV are going to be distracting them. And Cromwell going to have to back off from that Panzer IV and deal with it in a different way. Meanwhile, Royal Engineers have taken the majority of the top map and the bottom map, owning all 3 victory points here, taking down the score of Barton 391 to 449. And now the Panzer IV are going to chase away the Royal Engineers. which will allow him to take back this sector up there, taking back that victory point. And I have a mortar out on the field for the Wehrmacht. Looks like 2 mortars, actually. 2 of them set up here. And some Osttroopen guarding them up front. The Commandos moving in. And these Osttroopen are in for a surprise here. Going to get peppered up. However, the Commandos in a little bit of trouble here. The Panzer IV and 2 Osttroopen and the artillery officer moving in on them. So just running those away pretty much instantly. Didn't really get a chance to actually kill anything. But they're going to run over the M6 mine. So should this Panzer IV actually chase them, he will inadvertently run over a mine, but it doesn't look like he's going to take that bait, and he's going to run off the other way. And now infantry here are going to get inside the building, hold out for a little while against the Osttroopen in the artillery field officer. Meanwhile, we have a 6-pounder out on the field to deal with this Panzer IV. And Osttroopen taking way too much damage there. The mortars coming down on them from these 2 mortars back here, doing big damage to the house and to the infantry inside. Now I'm going to throw a Mills bomb. Nope, actually just going to be, excuse me, it's just the artillery, and going to be coming down in the sector here. Going to force away all troops in this area. Very, very discouraging. Red smoke. And here they come now, but there's nothing in the area for them to attack, and maybe these Osttroopen will be the subject of some stray artillery, but it doesn't look likely. Nope. And now the Cromwell coming around and moving towards the bottom of the map. Looks like we saw these Osttroopen down here and could be able to take them out fairly easy. And now the Panzer IV moving across the map and going towards the Cromwell now. And now up top here, Osttroopen going to hold out against these Commandos, but not going to be for long. As you can see, already destroying the Commandos. So overpowered. There they go, running away already. Lost 4 of them in the blink of an eye. And now the Cromwell fires and gets a good shot in on that Panzer IV. Panzer IV now losing this battle. Down to half health. Cromwell going to chase a little bit here. But he should be able to get away, no problem there. Now Commando's going to be taking over the top victory point. And here comes the artillery field officer to take their hand against those Commandos, but not going to happen. He's going to have to back off there and send some more Osttroopen up there. Although admittedly the Osttroopen is a pretty weak squad overall against a Commando, but Commandos just so much damage, so much damage. Although they do cost 500 with the glider, so that means you could have gotten like 2 infantry in the cost of those, or even the cost of a tank, really, in terms of the manpower. And now the Commandos, Osttroopen rather, are down here. 3 of them going to be taking back this territory. Could spread them out and take the fuel point as well, but there's way too much there. So he's just going to try and sneak around here, take the victory point and the munitions point. And the Osttroopen here moving in on that Cromwell, and maybe they're going to Panzerfaust it, but doesn't look like it. I don't really know what he was doing. Maybe going after that 6-pounder there, but wasn't going to happen. Not with just 1 squad there against all of this. And now that Panzer IV here chasing away those Commandos, moved up top there to move those away. And now the Cromwell going to be going after the Panzer IV again. Gets a good shot. The 2nd Cromwell out on the map. And now going after that Panzer IV, chasing it down. The Pioneers here have to run away. And Royal Engineers were chased off there. Did successfully take the bottom here. Could actually probably take that field point now that that Cromwell is no longer there. Just a 6-pounder up there. 2 Cromwells up top. Forced away that Panzer IV. Does have enough money for another Panzer IV should he choose to do that. It does have 130, over 135. Doesn't have the manpower to necessarily get a Panzer IV. Needs 350, but could easily wait out for an additional 50, and that's what he might be doing. To deal with 2 Cromwells, get 2 Panzer IVs, I suppose, or even go for a Panther. That would probably be a really good bet, as the Panther is just a really solid tank. Always a very trustworthy tank. 2 Osttroopen here. Gonna get chased away by these Cromwells. Could Panzerfaust, and is gonna Panzerfaust. And it looks like the Panzerfaust guy actually got ran over while he was Panzerfausting. So it did not go off. I don't think it went off. I didn't actually see it go off. but the 2 Cromwells are slightly damaged. And there is a for sure Panzerfaust. Damages the armor on that Cromwell, but should be able to make it out. There's really nothing around that's going to actually take it out there with its engine actually damaged. It looks like another Panzer IV is indeed coming, and a Panzer IV now moving across the map towards that broken Cromwell, and now he's going to face his rear armor towards this Panzer IV. Not good at all. And Panzer IV does not fire at the appropriate one there. He just fired at the first one he spotted, which is, I suppose, fine too, but could have gotten some very good damage on the backside of that Cromwell. Now, both Cromwell's engines are damaged, but we do have a couple Royal Engineers here to repair them both up at the same time. Meanwhile, Commando's infantry moving on to this territory. Now going to force away these mortars, perhaps. Nope, going to have to run away with the Commandos and run away with the infantry. Now going to back up those mortars just a bit. And artillery coming down on these Panzer IVs, going to have to back up. And I'd say that artillery should have been dropped right about here to get those mortars, but the mortars were already backed off.
The enemy is taking our territory.
And now the Cromwells moving out again. The engines have been repaired on them. Only a couple kills really on these mortars here. 2 on this one and 1 on this one, or 6 on this one rather.
Our HQ is under attack.
And now Cromwells have moved right into the German base. And here comes one of the Panzer IVs. We're going to maybe lose this. He's going to blitzkrieg out of there. He's going to blitzkrieg as fast as possible. And he should be able to just make it out of there without any trouble. And here comes the other Panzer IV to defend. But there are 2 Cromwells, and the Panzer IV really has no chance against 2 of these. So he's going to have to back up out of there. And now bring in a light mechanized company for some, more than likely, some Pack 40s to deal with these Cromwells here. And those 2 mortars here have been brought towards the center. Pretty good spot for them. I liked the spot earlier, but now it's sort of been destroyed. All the good fencing and whatnot that they were hiding behind. And the top here was almost taken by the British forces. Had to run away with those 2 infantry. Looked like the snipers got a hold of them. And looks like the snipers trying to chase. Ran over an M6 mine by the looks of it. And now its engine severely damaged. It's stuck to a crawl now. Cannot even move at all. So he's going to have to make it out of there. And these 2 Cromwells could easily react to that and finish this Panzer IV off. He needs to bring up his Pioneers immediately. I'd say that this is probably the higher priority right now, because you could actually take this one and just bring it into the base where it's safe and go up to this one and repair that engine, because this one will not be able to make it out of there. And now he's going to Panzerfaust these 2 Cromwells. Cromwell's engines are now damaged, not as nearly as much as this tank here. Trying to turn this tank around to face the frontal armor towards these Cromwells before they make it. Those 2 Panzerfaust should help a little bit, but other than that, the engine are damaged, but they're still quite mobile compared to this Panzer IV. Panzer IV will not make it. Will almost certainly lose this. But he should be able to fight back here. He may be able to finish off that other Cromwell. Nope, gets finished off before he gets that chance. And so he loses 1 Panzer IV. Pretty big loss for our Wehrmacht there. And now this Panzer IV here is in trouble. Only 1 actual engineer on the map right now. And so he needs to reinforce this and then go ahead and heal up, repair up his Panzer IV, and lots of Ostruppen in the base. He does not have the manpower to do this. He's so low on manpower because of all these Ostruppen here and losing so much. But he just doesn't have enough to actually reinforce all of this, so he's standing around in base waiting for every reinforcement. And this artillery field officer, only 1 man in there, only a few men in this Ostruppen squad. And now the infantry going right after these mortars. And they're very vulnerable here, so he's going to pick those up, retreat those back to base. We have some Ostruppen moving over here, just 3 men in this squad, taking the left side victory point, center victory point belonging to the British forces shortly, and the top also in hands of the British.
The enemy will get a drubbing, thanks to our new anvil tactics.
And now he's going right after the infantry here with the Ostruppen, going to chase those away. And it looks like some air supremacy coming down here. May actually take out this mechanized building. Just finishes that off. So he'll have to rebuild that should he want additional packs. So that's going to cost him as well. That's air supremacy. So good, but it does cost you 325 munitions. So peace out in terms of your munitions for pretty much the rest of the game. I've never really even seen that used more than once, maybe twice a game, because you just simply don't have the munitions to do it. So although it does seemingly is pretty overpowered, it takes pretty much everything you've got, so you pretty much can't do anything all game with your munitions. 325 is quite a lot. I suppose in a very long game situation you could use that 2 or 3 times indeed, but any short game, simply not going to happen. 2 Panzerfaust connect on that Cromwell. Damages his engine, going to have to pull that back, but he does indeed have 2 Royal Engineers, which will fix that back up. And now that Pack 40 going to be fired at the Cromwell. 2 Osttroop in here going to be backing out from the Royal Engineers in that Cromwell. And I'm not sure if that Pack 40 connected at all. Nope, looks like it did not. And Osttrooping down here, just 3 of them, still very low on manpower. 45 manpower is being floated here. Another tank being brought out, this time a Stug 3 Ausführung G being brought out. And that should be pretty excellent against the Cromwell. The Stug does much more damage than the Panzer IV. Just its mobility is certainly lost. Now, that was definitely a good idea, getting rid of this cover here a little bit, so that infantry and such can't use that. And holding that, some Pioneers now moving up to the victory point. Looks like they're going to be taking that. However, the 2 Cromwells are moving up. And that Stug is now out. It's going to be moving towards the Cromwells as fast as possible to back up this Panzer IV. This Panzer IV doing a dance. Don't know what this Panzer IV is doing. It's just facing the wrong way. And he actually really lucked out on that one, that he didn't take 2 shots in the rear armor. And here comes the Stug now. Going to be fired on the Cromwell. Should be able to fire now. And going to fire in the back armor. Nope, misses though. Sort of a critical miss indeed. The bottom being taken by the British forces. There's 2 Cromwells trying to get away to some extent, and just going to abandon this area by the looks of it. And looks like a Churchill is out on the map as well. So the British forces sporting 3 tanks out on the map, a couple Cromwells in that Churchill, compared to a Panzer IV and the Stug 3. Royal Engineers now moving forward at the pack here, may actually finish this off, including the Commandos. And now the Churchill and Cromwell all going after the Stug. Panzer IV is at the bottom of the map and backing up to the action here, but unfortunately the Stug is going to get wasted. And it's just so low, and no, it abandons it, so it's not finished off just yet, but then finishes it off with that Pack 40 that was taken by the British forces. And actually takes that out with a Panzerfaust.
My lord, a tank's been lost.
Panzer IV now firing on the Churchill, but going to be pretty futile firing on that Churchill. Going to take so long to take it out. And that Panzer IV going to be blitzkrieging on out of here. Going to go all the way down to the corner of the base. And unable to chase it into the base there. Unable to risk getting Panzerfausted to death. And now that has been retaken by the Wehrmacht. Going to run that on back to base. And he certainly could use a lot more of those. Now that that Churchill is out. Churchill takes a shot, but just simply doesn't do enough damage. And Churchill just has so much health.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Now 3 Osttroop in here are going to hold out against a Commando. Throws a Gammon bomb and backs out there. Doesn't suffer any damage. The Royal Engineers have to run away. And now the Commandos are next. Over the Churchill going to be moving forward. Going to try and stall them out a little bit. Score so far 394 to 280. Resources 53 and 26 to 31 and 26. So same in terms of the fuel, not so much in terms of the munitions. Quite a bit of munitions actually incoming for the British forces. Churchill actually suffers engine damage, but should be able to make it out no problem, as the pack really isn't going to be enough to take it out either way. And here comes the artillery coming down. By the looks of it, looks like a railway artillery support incoming. And these better get on out of there. Oh, it finishes off the whole squad there. They ran right into it. That was pretty interesting. And I'm not sure if that did any damage or not to that Churchill, but he did finish off a Royal Engineer squad, so that is pretty good, I suppose, at the very least. And now the Panzer IV chasing away that infantry section, and along with the Cromwell as well. Bringing out another Panzer IV for the Wehrmacht, which will be on the map soon. 2-star Panzer IV with the side armor skirts. And now a 6-pounder for the British forces to try and deal with these, with the Wehrmacht armor.
We're losing a capture point.
Now that the British forces is pretty much all the way in the base, except for some troops that are pretty much all in the base for the most part. And up top now a glider has been brought in to take this victory point here. Commandos have been released from the glider, now going to be taking that back. So the British forces should be able to own 2, but it looks like the Wehrmacht taking this one and the bottom one at the same time. Second Panzer IV out on the map now, and also getting that MG-42 Pindo-mounted coaxial machine gun. And now going to be backing out. Churchill moving forward. And let's see if these Osttruppen use Panzerfaust, but they're so low on munitions you cannot use it. And the Panzer IV has moved up and going right after the Commandos. We actually lose this Commando squad to that Panzer IV and loses it and the glider at the same time there. That was a big loss for Romeo. That was 500 pretty much down the turlet, if you will. And I did say turlet. Yes, I did. And the victory point up here, still taken by the British forces, though, at the very least. But still really not worth losing 500 manpower. And the Commandos, precious Commandos, 3-star Cromwell now out on the map versus the Panzer IV here. And both sides back off a little bit. Don't really want any of that noise. Panzer IV chasing away some infantry there. 378 to 258, so losing a little bit here by BartonPL. And now we have some heavy Royal Engineers. And with those Vickers light machine guns, going to be peppering up the Osttruppen pretty bad here. And here comes the Churchill as well to fire on them. Looks like it took out one. And Pack 40 fires on the Churchill. Panzer IV also firing. And that Pack 40 is a 1-star veteran. Could use that shell, that target weak point ability. Which is really, really awesome. I love the target weak point ability on the Pack 40, especially if you have 2 or 3 Pack 40s. You can actually chain stun a tank to death with Pack 40s. Here comes another air supremacy operation. Let's see what it actually takes out. And it may actually finish off this barracks by the looks of it. And it looks like it's just out of the range. And only took a little bit of damage. Didn't actually take out anything, so a huge waste of resources there. 325 lost. Did force his opponent back a little bit, but unfortunately didn't take anything out. And Pack 40 moving up again. Again, you can use the target weak point ability. You can pretty much just do it one at a time. Just click on this one, and then if you had a few of them, you can do it one at a time and simply just take turns stunning the enemy tank. It's pretty cheap, but it's really, really satisfying. I promise you. Try it out sometime. Cromwell, oh, right in the back arm of this Panzer IV, took a wicked hit there. And used to back off and heal up. Has 2 Pioneers out on the map. And where is that other one? All the way back here at this mechanized company, built that, and maybe forgot about those engineers. He needs to use those quickly here to repair these 2 Panzer IVs. And the mortars here in trouble, backing up that Pack 40 as well, and whipping out the Panzerfaust, hits the Cromwell, damages its engine.
We've lost an anti-tank gun.
And here come the Osttruppen from the rear, and going to hit it in the side armor there, and damages its engine. We'll have to back up both of these tanks now and repair those up. now desperately trying to get out of here, and it looks like these Osttroopen are trying to wait for another Panzerfaust, and going to try and do it again, but that's not really going to do anything of too much value. Pack 40 is chasing it too, and I would definitely rather see a target weak point than another Panzerfaust, as the target weak point would stop it in its tracks, and it also does quite a bit of damage as well. Another Churchill out on the field, and going to take the place of this other Churchill. Going to have to run away. He's going to power glide out of there. And he is a telepath, and he is just floating on out of there. Screw running when you can float. And now the Churchill backing up so low. And I just rarely ever see anybody use his target weak point ability, and it just surprises me, really. It's super good, and if you're watching this and you just don't happen to use that often, use it. It's insanely good. It just stops the tank dead in its tracks because you stun it, and then you're actually able to fire again with the Pack 40. So typically you can actually get 2 shots in. What you can do is you can get the weak point shot in, which stuns it, and then it'll actually be stunned long enough for you to reload another shell and fire at it again with a regular shell. So it's just insanely good. If you would have had the munitions to actually use that on that Churchill there, I would have finished it off almost guaranteed. A second Pack 40 out of the map, third Pack 40 out of the map. We just have 3 of them. And now moving forward with a couple Panzer IVs here, going to be chasing away the infantry. There they go, running off. That victory point up for the taking. The top victory point belonging to the British forces. Bottom victory point will soon belong to the Wehrmacht. And now the Osttroopen moving on out again, going to take this fuel point for the Führer, or what have you. And the Churchill's chilling back at base, going to have to repair up this one. Its engine was damaged, but that is insanely fast repairing. Oh, wow. 3 heavy Royal Engineers there. Repaired that up in a blinding hurry. And with 3 Pack 40s, I don't see why he shouldn't be able to take out some of these Churchills really easily. And Churchill going right towards the Osttroopen. They might be able to hold out long enough to actually take this fuel point. It depends. The Cromwell now coming, so now it is even less likely. Here they go, backing off now. And gets, totally runs over, almost loses the whole squad there. May actually lose the whole squad, and loses that Osttroopen squad. Not good for BartonPL, as he doesn't have much manpower to really use. Now the 3 Pack 40s are set up here. And still not using that target weak point. This one could be loading the weak point shell, and the other 2 could be firing. Oh no, I just want to see it so bad. And looks like some air power now coming in here. Looks like just mortar cover, firing some explosives in the good old white phosphorus shells, which are totally illegal now. And now Cromwell moving forward. Another Cromwell behind that Cromwell. Or Churchill. 2 Churchills moving forward. I said Cromwell, didn't I? Churchills. Not Cromwells. And 2 Panzer IVs, which I did get that right. And moving forward at the Churchills. And Churchill's eating Pack 40s there like pros. And have some flares coming on down, illuminating this area. Should be able to see whatever's going on here. And knows to back off just a little bit. The Wehrmacht owning the top victory point, and soon this munitions point as well, which they certainly need, as he only has 26 munitions. The British forces has 58, so he really needs to turn that around. He really needs those munitions to be able to use, again, the weak point shells and Panzerfaust on his Osttroopen army that he once had. Now 4 Pack 40s out of the map, a 4th one. Where is that new one? It's with the group here. Well, it's actually sort of back. It's sort of the dunce of the group. It didn't really get the memo to move forward. And Panzer IV has to back up out of here. Lost his other Panzer IV. So now it's just basically 1 Panzer IV and 4 Pack 40s against all these Churchills, and I'm surprised it just doesn't really make sense that the Churchill can actually take that much. And there goes a weak point shell, but unfortunately it was a little too late, and it's already back there now and has the time to move out. But once he gets a few of these going with a 1-star veterancy, once you get a couple of them, you can really chain stun. It's super good. I love doing it, especially if you have elite infantry. The elite infantry commander, you can, as soon as you have a Pack 40 come out, you just simply elite the Pack 40, make it a 1-star veteran, and it is able to
Enemy is attempting to steal our
use that
sector.
ability right off the bat. Another glider comes down with some commandos to take the top victory point. And now the Panzer IV going to be reacting to that, sees what's going on, going to go after the commandos. The only problem about the commandos, super good against infantry, but not so good against tanks. They really don't have any way to deal with a tank. And moves right through that glider there, finishes that off.
A capture point is being overrun.
Now moving around a blob of PaK-40s. And I'm not really sure why he's moving them up. There's really nothing, no tanks up top. Maybe he thought one was going to be reacting to that Panzer IV. Two engineers here going to be repairing up this Panzer IV now.
Territory is out of contact.
And it's floating 450 resources, so I'm curious as to what he will get. He is very close to a Panzer IV in terms of fuel, and he does have it now, so he could bring out another Panzer IV. That certainly would probably serve him quite well. And now the PaK-40 is going to be setting up against the Cromwell. Cromwell eating it up pretty bad there, finishes that off really easily. And now it's all about those Churchills, but unfortunately the Churchills have so much health that the PaK-40s really just aren't doing anything to them. And now need to recrew that PaK-40. Gonna back out this Panzer IV here. Panzer IV in trouble. And there it goes, gonna back out, no problem. Another PaK-40 is out on the map, or actually being produced rather. And needs to recrew that one. Would be a lot cheaper than actually bringing out another PaK-40. And now losing a lot of territory here by sitting back and repairing. Also losing his top victory point as well. And additional Osttruppen have been called in. So 2 squads of Osttruppen, and it would definitely be good to have a few squads of Osttruppen out. You could just sort of run them at the Churchills, and maybe just sort of share Panzerfaust, hit one each with a Panzerfaust if they're below 75% or close to it to damage both of the engines. That would be very effective with these PaK-40s here. Would allow them to get additional shots in before they move away. And again, he does have several 1-star veterans now. He has 2 of them, so he could chain stun if he wanted to. It does cost quite a bit. It would be 60 to use both of those at once, but it's certainly worth it. Now a 5th PaK-40 is moved up here, and these Cromwells are going to take big damage. But unfortunately, the PaK-40s are sort of separated. They're sort of hitting each hitting their own targets there. Damages them equally though, which is pretty good. So now both of the engineers, they're gonna have to split up and heal them up. But he does have quite a bit of engineers on the field. He has 4 of them to repair up those Churchills, so that is not going to be a problem at all. And if these PaK-40s could, if the majority of them or all of them could get to level 2 veterancy, it raises the attack speed of them quite a lot. The reload speed, attack speed, what have you, and they fire much faster. Typically, the 3rd veterancy increases the penetration quite a bit too. But again, it doesn't really increase damage; just a penetration factor. So they will do damage more often. And it may be a hidden stat where it increases the damage as well. More than likely, probably does. But now the Panzer IV moving up and going after the Churchill. And goes after the infantry instead. Not the most recommended thing. Could have actually got a good shot here on that Churchill. And where are those Osttruppen? Could use those Osttruppen and hit that Churchill there and damage its engine. Force it out back to base. Looks like a mass exodus here back to base with those pioneers, the Panzer IV backing up, and the PaK-40s as well. And an air supremacy operation on these PaK-40s would be absolutely devastating if you didn't move them out in time. That would pretty much just be automatic GG for sure. Now moving forward here with the 5 PaK-40s. This is something you do not see every day, and I'm just so surprised they're just not doing any damage to these Churchills. I think the Churchill is maybe a little bit overpowered. Not necessarily overpowered in terms of damage, but just so much health. It just seems like these PaKs would easily take out a Churchill. Realistically, if 5 PaKs hit an actual Churchill in the war, forget about it. That Churchill is going to be a steaming pile of fire. As the PaK-40 was a pretty wicked artillery, anti-tank cannon. It's very interesting. recommend you guys go on YouTube or whatever and check out the Pak-40 being fired. It is pretty wild. I would certainly love to have one. Could have the party, bring the boys over to the party, some drinks. Like, hey guys, you want to fire the Pak-40? Yeah, let's do it. And now the Panzer IV here moving right at the infantry. Going to force these away, no problem, but still has that center victory point. All 3 victory points belonging to the British forces, but some Osttroopen moving down to the bottom and take that victory point back. And the Pioneers here are going to be repairing up the Panzer IV, but let's see if they're going to do that in combat or not. That is definitely not the best way to do it. You typically lose Pioneers very easily. And now all these British forces troops force away the Pioneers and the Osttroopen. And AT guns all the way in the back here. And Churchill is not stupid enough to move forward against all those Pak-40s at the moment, although he would probably survive it more than likely. And up top here, the other Churchill is defending, forcing away all these Pioneers with the Royal Engineers, heavy Royal Engineers, and the infantry pushing forward as well, going to be taking this territory point back. And these 2 mortars are still alive. Now all 3-star veterans. Very good indeed. Now the Pak-40 is going to be moving up against that Churchill. And looks like 6 Pak-40s now. 6 Pak-40s against this Churchill. And for some reason, they're just not doing the job. I just can't believe this. Again, should probably be loading up as soon as he gets the chance. But the only problem with the target weak point ability on the Pak-40 is that if a tank is pretty much max range to your Pak-40, what happens is you have to actually reload an entirely new shell when you click the button. And that takes a while to do. So he should definitely be using that that weak point ability. If you could do it once, just click it once, and then when one fires, and then you click it again, and then again, and you can pretty much chain stun that Churchill. So again, lesson learned for anybody watching this. If you need to do this for some insane reason, get 6 Pak-40s, use that weak point ability. But he just doesn't have the munitions right now. Looks like a lot of his munitions are probably going into Panzerfaust against those tanks, and I'm not really sure what else he was using his munitions on. Perhaps he is using that target weak point ability, but it's not really going off. Not really seeing it a lot. I did see it once or twice this game. That top victory point still belonging to the British forces, really uncontested completely. British forces now under fire from that Panzer IV, and Osttroopen did take that victory point, but should be taking that munitions point as well, just standing around. I'd like to see him be taking that. A 7th Pak-40 out on the map now. Well, very, very soon we'll be on the map to deal with these Churchills. And Churchill's moving forward with a ton of Royal Engineers, 3 Royal Engineers behind them to fix it up. And there's a 4th one somewhere. I don't know where it is. Here's the 4th one. And that Churchill took wicked shots there. And Churchill loses a Churchill finally to 7 Pak-40s. Looks like the 7th one hasn't actually made it all the way up. The 7th one is all the way over here, not with the cool group apparently. And now the Panzer IV in a little bit of trouble, but there's not really too much that's going to be able to deal with it. No Piats on these troops.
We are suffering losses.
And I'm going to be running on back here. We have quite a bit going on. Lots of troops with the like the Bren Mark II and that heavy Royal Engineers with the light Vickers. And now the Pak-40s here, 7 of them in trouble to 1 Commando. And in real life, you could pretty much just turn those Pak-40s around and fire into the face of those Commandos, and you wouldn't even have to get struck by the bullet. If you were anywhere near the barrel of that, when it fires, it would probably juice your organs or probably deafen you. It would be really, really bad. The overpressure of it would probably kill you. And now the top victory point being taken back by the Engineers for the Wehrmacht. Center should be being taken back by the Wehrmacht. Looks like the mortar is going to do that themselves.
Attempting to steal our sector.
And victory point down on the bottom, being taken by the British forces. Speaking of overpressure, a long time ago, an older gentleman was in Vietnam. He worked on a fire base in Vietnam, where the artillery fire from, and they said that you can't be in front of the artillery So they would have to make sure that nobody's in front of the artillery when it's fired, because if you're in front of the artillery when it fires, your organs would pretty much melt inside your body. You just drop dead to the ground because the pressure was so much that it kills you. So that's sort of an interesting anecdote, I suppose, and I don't see why it doesn't really kill troops in the front of a Pak-40, just right in the face of it when it's firing. The amount of pressure that comes out of the barrel of that thing would be devastating to the human body. Now the Osttroopen here did successfully take that victory point, and now the top victory point belonging to the Royal Engineers. Again, 61 points left for Barton, 271 for Romeo. Churchill moving in, and Bofors has been placed down here on the bottom victory point there, but shouldn't be a problem really for Barton to deal with this. The only problem is that he has a lack of time to deal with it. So seven Pak-40s could just roll down there and just finish that off in probably one volley. And now the Panzer IV here in a little bit of trouble, damaged heavily, 3 stars. And that air supremacy operation goes on over the area here, and fortunately he brought his Pak-40s all the way back here, because if they were just brought all the way back here, would have lost probably every single one of those, and that would have been very, very devastating to lose 7 Pak-40s. How much is 7 Pak-40s? What is that, like 2,240 munitions or manpower to buy that? Something like that? I didn't do the math very well. 2,240 in my head? I don't know, whatever. I'm trying to cast at the same time as doing math. It's a little hard. But yeah, that is a lot of manpower invested in this little sector here. So now the mortar trying to take the center victory point back, but probably not the best choice to take a victory point back, but it doesn't look like he has much other options. Really has those 2 engineers, and the engineers are really busy working on the Panzer IV and other things, such as the top victory point. And now bringing the only problem with building 7 of these Pak-40s to deal with the Churchills is now he doesn't have any incomes. He has 180 manpower income because of so much of it, and loses a pack on there. And looks like some mortar cover coming down on these packs here, down to 6 packs now, or down to, what is that, 7 packs still? Where is that other? Oh no, one of the packs, okay, is retreating. So one of the men has a retreating men, an AWOL guy there. So yeah, down to 6. This one just needs recrewed. And Panzer IV now being repaired back up, and at the same time taking the center victory point. Top victory point does belong to the Wehrmacht as well. Down to 35 points, 271 to 35. That Churchill all the way in the back could use probably another one. It doesn't have the manpower to get another one, but does have plenty of fuel, floating so much fuel. And there's a Bren 2 light machine gun just chilling on the ground there for the taking. It looks like it was picked up by this Royal Engineer squad. And now going to be moving his packs out of the way. Here comes that Churchill again. Panzer IV now holding out. No Piats on any of these troops. I would like to see that. Probably could easily deal with this Panzer IV with a bunch of Piats. Piat, whatever. And now the Pak-40 moving on out of the way. There is a bunker chilling here, but they're going around the bunker, so not a big deal. Now these packs are in a little bit of trouble. Going to fire on that Churchill there. Did pretty good damage. Took it down to about half health, but that Churchill can easily just back up to base and be totally fine. Panzer IV going to be firing back. Panzer IV can just really eat all this damage. There's really nothing that can really do any damage to this Panzer IV, because none of them have any of those Piats to actually be firing on this Panzer IV. So really, it's just a bunch of bullets pinging off of it. And now the Commando is going to try and go around the bunker here, going to go right after these packs. And now the Panzer IV should react to this. If those Commandos go after the packs, those packs will be lost quickly. And here comes that Panzer IV now, going to be going right after them. And they do get around the corner in time and forces the retreat on those Commandos. However, that victory point has been neutralized once again. Now all the units back at base, back at Romeo's base. He does not have enough manpower to really be reinforcing all of this. You can see he's really, really struggling with his manpower, but it's so much fuel. It looks like that Churchill was taken out by the packs. I didn't notice that at the time, but it was finished off by those packs. Panzer IV moving forward now. Only problem now is that there's no armor on the field for Romeo. Well, there's some armor coming shortly, but there's really no armor at the moment, and all these packs are useless at the moment. That's the problem. So he's really not going to be able to do anything with these. because Romeo has quite a bit of troops. He has all these Royal Engineers, all this infantry, even those commandos, and these packs really can't do anything to them. I could really take them out once in a while with an RNG shot, but other than that, not really. And the bunker here is being flanked around, and the Pack 40s finally start firing at troops. And all of those Pack 40s still did not take out any of those Royal Engineers, but I don't think all of them fired. I think only like 3 or 4 of them actually fired. And now some Osttroop, now moving over to the top here, are going to have to deal with these Royal Engineers, but I doubt they're going to be able to do it. And what is going down here? It looks like a minefield going down. And up top, that victory point still belonging to the Wehrmacht, but 248 points is needed to finish off his opponent. It is quite a bit. That Bofors down here still securing strong on this victory point. This victory point going to be very, very hard to take for the Wehrmacht. Here comes some unsuspecting pioneers. Uh-oh.
The enemy is attacking one of our
Nope. And they run away immediately. They see that and they back off. That's smart lads. And the commandos here are going to set up a demo charge at this bunker. Going to finish this off. This bunker is toast. And whenever he decides to actually explode, there it goes, finishes that up, and it should be a little easier to take this victory point now. Can take this munitions point, though, with these pioneers, and needs to bring over the packs. Indeed, he's bringing over those packs now. And I'm taking a bet now. I'm thinking that if all 7 of these fire at once, it will one-shot this Bofors. Place your bets, place your bets. And now all these troops here moving towards the center victory point, and they're just going to eat up some of these mines, and a Pack 40 has been taken by the... Oh, and I didn't get to see it! Oh, no! But it does look like they pretty much one-shotted it, regardless of the... But it was finished off really quick, and but that was kind of interesting. 6 Pack 40s firing at once on 1 Bofors. Very interesting. The center victory point still belonging to the Wehrmacht. Top still belongs to the Wehrmacht. These Osttroop are going to be holding it strong here. Going to build another bunker. And we have some artillery coming down by the looks of it. Some railway support, which is actually destroying his own mines. But could easily bring up some additional mines. I'm going to bring up another bunker here to hold this, but I don't think that bunker's close enough. I'd like to see that bunker maybe like right here to cover that whole thing, but I suppose. And Pack 40 now trying to fire at the Panzer IV. Sherman Firefly now out on the map, and if these packs get a hold of that Sherman Firefly, it's done. The Sherman Firefly has very little health and armor, relatively, at least to the Churchill anyway. Does have those tulip rockets researched there on that Sherman Firefly. They are ready to go by the looks of it, indeed. And but he does not have 100. Well, no, does not have 100 munitions. Almost had it, but used it on something just before that. And now the Pack 40s are going to be fired on that Sherman Firefly. Oh no! And it goes down before it gets a chance to pretty much do anything in the game. That's what 6 Pack 40s will do. And now the Osttroop are out on the map. And just 2 here left, and not building that MG42 in that bunker. Looks like he does not have the munitions to do so. Only 1 man left in this Osttroop squad, lets it die, as he's probably a little bit preoccupied, apparently. An additional Osttroop now coming onto the field here. We have 1 fresh one and another one behind that. And now Royal Engineers here. Almost take that victory point. And we have the Royal Engineers have taken the bottom victory point, which leaves only 1 victory point taken. It's going to lower the points a little bit of Barton down to 33, down even lower now. Going to be contesting this as well, and needs to take this victory point here. He's just losing points as his opponent has 1, he has none. And these Pack 40s here should at least be firing on troops. Although they are very, very ineffective against troops, they have nothing else to fire on right now, so might as well be firing at troops with them. As once in a while, you can get some good shots on troops, especially if you have 6 of them running around at once. Now down to 5, apparently. So I'd like to see them be firing at troops. Why not? At this point in the game, the Osttroop in here trying to hold this victory point, and they're so close to taking it, but the infantry are neutralizing it. Disallowing them to take that. Top victory point has been taken back by Barton. The center victory point looks like it will be taken by Barton as well, so we'll start lowering down the points from 178 here, 178 to 26, 58 to 29, and 21 to 30, so a little bit more resources for the British Forces player as well, and some more Royal Engineers now coming out as well. And Panzer IV now moves up, and now it's being neutralized by those infantry, but the Pioneers now come along to take that back. Looks like a 6-pounder is being developed here by the British Forces, and those packs have moved up. Just 5 of them left in operation. There's probably other packs here. Look, there's one there. They're probably just really just peppered all over the map for the most part. And could actually recrew that again, but does not need to recrew that. Really just be a waste of resources in my opinion at this time. And should take off that priority. Although he does not know that his ally doesn't have any armor or is not producing any armor, it would be best right now just to take that off because it's so late in the game. He needs all the damage he can. He needs all the infantry stopping power that he can possibly muster, and could be using that at the very least. The bunker now has an MG42 Ostrupen up here to defend as well, and needs to desperately defend the center. And here it goes, now taking that center, but the bunker here should be able to take out some of them. But again, the bunker is a little bit too far back. I would like to see that bunker maybe right here-ish, so it could cover at least that whole victory point. Make it a little bit easier to flank, but it would cover the whole victory point. And now that 6-pounder there is going to take out this bunker, no problem. And here comes some mortar barrage from the British Forces, forcing back that pack. 26 points left, 157 to 26. A very, very intense game indeed. Royal Engineers now here holding out, just eating shells, saying screw it, why not? Distracting his opponent. And now taking the top victory point. Has taken that bottom victory point now being taken by the Germans, but the only problem is that from time to time he loses all victory points. And just a few more points to his defeat. 157, he still has to go, so quite a while. So close yet so far for the Wehrmacht. And all these Pack 40s here being healed up. Still no armor out of the map. And again, just so many Pack 40s were developed. And really now, just such a waste. Really just not really amounting to anything. And I was going to take out another Pack 40 for no reason, apparently. I guess so his opponent can't use it against him? I don't know. He probably wasn't planning on actually using this Pack 40 again. So he didn't really want his opponent to take that. Again, he really doesn't have enough money to be buying any additional Ostrupen or troops, really. He's just so low. And he may actually lose this squad. Pioneers are trying to take the munitions point and should be able to take it before the troops get there. And we'll have to run away immediately after that. Top victory point being taken, but now not anymore, as the Royal Engineers were pinned, but the bunker will go down in just a couple of hits here. Bunker falls, removes the pinning process here. Ordnance, the 6-pounder, needs to turn around and start firing at that Panzer IV, but decrews it. And now all the Pack 40s here back at base just sitting around. And the Pioneers here taking the victory point. Going to be holding strong to that victory point down up here as well. Lost another Ostrupen squad. Needs to keep bringing these in. He's bringing out a MG42 to help stop some of this infantry, as there's nothing but infantry on the map. So the MG42s would prove to be pretty useful at this point. Actually, several MG42s would be proving to be pretty useful. Could actually just really pile these out. Maybe even 2 or 3 of them. He has 2 right now, so maybe a third one would be nice. Have one up here, one here as well, and then one for maybe an anti-flank to move around as needed. And here comes the Commando. Is going to be moving right up on this MG42. Needs to pick up this MG42 right now because this Gammon bomb is just going to be dropped right on that Commando, or on the MG42 rather. And finishes up that MG42 in an instant. That was very disappointing. That's just, Commandos are just so overpowered. Oh my. Just because these had mortar craters here, bomb craters and such, that is technically cover. So that means that those Commandos are stealth as they come up to that MG42, which I don't think should be the case. I think Commandos should only be in cover in maybe green cover or foliage or something like that. Maybe just allow them to have cover to go stealth in mortar craters. Really, it's just they're just so cheap. But again, you can only have a little bit of them out at the same time. So there's a big trade-off with Commandos in the fact that they're insanely overpowered. And at the other end, that they cost so much. Like, there's no way he could bring out additional Commandos right now with such low manpower.
The enemy is attempting to steal our... We have a forward structure under attack.
And now we have Trooping here taking the center. Now the victory points are 1-1 right now. If this gets neutralized, it will be 1-0. We'll take down the points even more. Now down to 12. Very, very close game right now. 130-12, or at least particularly close for Barton. And does take that center victory point, which will stop that bleed, that loss a little bit more. And now needs to come up here and take that victory point back. And another bunker has been placed down again, but we'll see if that lasts very long or not. 6-pounders can come up and finish that off pretty easy. And now that center victory point is trying to be taken back again here by the Royal Engineers. Commandos trying to go around the side there to get to that MG42. Looks like it was spotted by this Panzer IV. Now the top being taken back by Barton will stop that loss. Once again, we'll actually start to lose points here for Romeo with holding 2 there. And just it needs to bring out every single bit of troops he can possibly bring out right now for Barton. Romeo's not in nearly as bad as a spot as Barton is right now. 12 points that can pretty much go in just a few seconds, really. And some additional Osttrooping should be brought in, and he's actually just reinforcing these Osttrooping. I would like to see another squad of Osttrooping being brought in, but it is cheaper just to reinforce. And now the center victory point here being taken. Needs to bring up all his troops. These Osttrooping just chilling around. Maybe he's given up. Not really sure. MG42's here firing on the Commandos. And Commandos should be getting suppressed, or pinned rather, very soon. Not sure why. They are in slight cover though, so it does take a little longer. And maybe actually able to take this victory point. Nope, gonna have to run away just before they... Nope, did take it. Which is kind of strange. They did take that, and now taking the top victory point as well. And all these Pak-40s proved to be the downfall of Barton by the looks of it. It's really, in the end, they just weren't very useful. They just couldn't take out anything. And he really wasn't using them to begin with, so I would like to see them actually be used against troops, although they're really, really pretty much useless against troops. But holding 5 of them or 4 of them at once, if you would have just taken it off priority, you could have actually been firing on troops the entire time, and you can take out a troop or 2 out of the squad from time to time with the Pak-40, especially if you have so many chances with 5, 6, 7 of them. But you just didn't really use them, didn't put them to use, which is really disappointing to see. And so a really, really good game indeed. Barton just, with those 2 Churchills there, he really got behind the game by making so many packs, and I don't feel that he used target weak point, didn't use it enough, if you will, and that proved to be his downfall in the sense that it took way too long to take out those Churchills, and if he was just using the target weak point a little bit more, it could have actually taken him down probably sooner, or actually at least damaged them more, which would have caused the Churchills to go back and had to repair up a little bit more and taken a little bit longer, which would have allowed Barton a little bit more time out in the field to take objectives and things like that. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.